I'm on here. I'm in beautiful Yosemite, and I'm going to talk about being careless with fire. I am someone that can tell you that you don't want to be responsible for an accidental fire. I burned my house down when I was in 5th grade playing with matches back in 1980, and that emotional ball and chain followed me around for decades. So you don't want to be in that place. The last thing you want is to come out to the beautiful wilderness in Yosemite or Kings Canyon, Sequoia, Golden Trout Wilderness, and be responsible for starting a fire that burns down tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of acres, possible loss of life, untold amounts of dollars spent fighting the fire. And when they show the story on the news, it's just your face. Hee-haw! You're the guy that started the fire, or the girl that started the fire. You don't want to be that person. So you want to be absolutely careful with fire. Fire is a privilege, and it is a great responsibility when you are in the wilderness. So before I go into what I've done to make my fire area safe, I'm going to show you the clip I shot when I came in and what I found. As we walked up, I didn't change anything. I actually cleared some stuff away from the fire pit just out of natural a natural reaction. But let's take a look at this really quick. First thing happened, walked up. There was this yellow wrapper sitting right here. This rubber band, this string. It's not fire related, but I just wanted to mention really quick, you don't want to leave garbage for the next people that come. It's just a bad start to their experience in the wilderness when they have to look at even the smallest thing. So I suggest people just, after you've broken everything down, do a hard walk around the whole campground and make sure there's nothing small like this left that's going to detract from the next person's experience. Twist ties, whatever. You may miss something, and it's not a huge crime, but we should all try to make it our next trip as special as possible. But so back to fire. Here is what I came upon. Large logs hanging over the edge of a very low fire ring with debris and bone dry pine needles and sticks all over the ground around the fire pit. All right, some of these logs were even closer. It looks like people were sitting on them, and there's just pine needles everywhere. So the pine needles over here, look at, say a spark goes on this stuff. There's a dead tree right there, a dead tree right here, and fire can get out of control faster than you can imagine. The wind's coming up right now. You do not want to start a forest fire, trust me. It looks like they put their fire out because it's muddy and there's coals. So at least there's that, but it looks like they knocked out the walls of it so that they could accommodate these larger logs. Don't do that. Keep all of your fire inside of the ring to make sure that it's safe. So I'm going to reset this fire situation so I can demonstrate the proper way to come out to the forest and responsibly have a fire and not put everybody in danger, not put the forest in danger. So I'm going to clean this up, reset the fire pit, and demonstrate how to responsibly come out to the woods and have a fire so that you can leave safely and everything's intact. And then the fire pit is set up for the next people to come, and they can kind of see that it's good, and through your positive actions, the next people can come and can kind of at least have a safe fire situation if they don't know any better. So let me clean this up, and then we'll come back and talk about what I did. Okay, so being responsible with your fire. So what we have here, I reconstructed their fire ring. I cut it in half. Their fire ring was really big. When you have a really large fire ring like that, it's dangerous and it burns a lot of wood. Wood is the future soil in the forest. You don't want to burn that much wood. You want to have a fire big enough, maybe cook some trout, get a little warmth at night, and that's it. You don't need to have a huge fire in order to enjoy yourself. That just could put you in a bad situation. So to responsibly have a fire when you are in the wilderness, you want to have your collapsible bucket of water. Where there's 2 of us, we have 2 collapsible buckets. From the time the fire starts to the time you douse it with the water, you want to have this ready to go. This stuff over here that I cleared away and that was all around the fire is super dry pine needles, sticks, and if this stuff catches, you need to be ready to respond right there. You're not going to be able to grab your water bottle or whatever you have that might be within arm's reach that's half full to put out a fire like that. You also, it's heavy, it's a pain, and I know not everyone might bring one. I always bring a collapsible shovel with me if I'm gonna have a fire. It's heavy, but hey, that comes with the responsibility of having a fire. When you are done with the fire, it needs to be completely out. You need to douse it. What I do is I pour some water on it, I stir it around with the shovel, and then I put more water in it and I stir it around with the shovel until it's just like a soupy mud. The good thing is if you're cooking fish on the fire like we were, got my little fish grill here, you have coals ready to go because you've put them out before they burn to completion. But there's a lot of this black stuff because when I broke down their firing and reconstructed it, I mean, I had to shovel out like a lot of material. That thing, when you saw the footage, that was full. So this firing is probably even a little big for what they would officially want, but I got the nice high walls. I cleaned this out, I changed the firing, and we're getting ready to leave soon. So what I did is I just cleaned everything up, created a nice swept zone. I swept all of this ground. I kicked all of the pine needles away. I cleared the ground so that if an ember comes out, it's not going to catch fire. Because once that happens, it happens very quickly. So it's nice. You can have a fire. If you got the tall style bear canister like I like to use, you can kick back and sit down on it, and those bear canisters work as a great seat. In Yosemite, you're not allowed to hang food, so everything's got to go in bear canisters. You know, we just had 2 of us, 2 collapsible buckets, 2 bear canisters. We were set. We were pretty much good to go. So I dig this in deep. I dug this out so the next people that come have a nice deep fire pit. They can have their fire safely down there. I would recommend that you don't have the fire all the way to the edges. You just have it in the middle, and then you have this nice high safe perimeter. And once again, I mean, look right here. This stuff was all around the fire ring when I got here. and I kicked it away, and I mean it's the second week of June, and there's been quite a bit of traffic up here already, and someone's already camped here. I mean, the garbage I found sitting right there was really fresh. I mean, it still had the candy or the sugar on it and stuff. So this fire was just that was just done. Another thing, when I was digging this out, I found a steel pop top from like a soup can or something, and that is razor sharp. So if someone doesn't have a shovel and they forgot their shovel and they go in there and try to dig that out with their hands, they're going to hit that aluminum can pop top, and it's going to slice their finger so deep that they're going to have to leave. And there's going to be a good chance they'll never be able to use that finger again or wherever they got cut, because that's going to slice right into the tendons. So, I mean, you should put trash in the fire, period. But by all means, glass, aluminum cans, anything that can get a sharp edge and slice someone, that cannot go in the fire. It's not going to burn, and it's just going to be there like a landmine for somebody to hit when they come out here to have a great wilderness experience. So, I mean, I'm not saying don't enjoy a fire when you come out. I say enjoy your fire. I say enjoy your fire safely. Do not burn down the wilderness. Do not burn down Yosemite. Please don't burn it down. Clean the ground. Get your collapsible buckets. And collapsible buckets are great too, because you can filter water from them. You can use the water for cooking if you bring it to a complete boil before you use it, and that way you don't have to only cook with your filtered water. So this information is good in any forest you're at, anywhere you're at, where you have these dry conditions. You just got to be extremely careful. Fire is extremely dangerous. With having a fire comes great responsibility. So I say have a safe trip to the wilderness and be careful with your fire. Thank you for viewing this on Wilderness with Amani. Check your regulations, and thank you.